So my name's George and I'm a speaker, facilitator, I'm a coach, and I'm also the host of Love Shortage, the podcast. So when you go through a challenging time, a lot of people say, I don't know how you do it. And the reason why you do it is because you haven't got a choice. And I think when your choices are taken away from you, it can make you feel out of control. And to gain some kind of control is great for you to feel more centered. And we can feel in control by making things a little bit smaller. So making things, how can I just get through today? How can I just get through the next hour? Especially in the early days when we were in hospital, we were in the NICU. It was, anyone that's been in a NICU is a very intense environment. There's just lots and lots of, we were in intensive care, so lots and lots of incubators, and they're all covered up to create the look of the womb. So everything's quiet because loud noises because the babies are so sensitive. So it's like a library and also an intensive care ward. So it's very strange and very in an alien environment. And what we just used to do is fill it with some small joys as well. So double deckers or Snickers used to feature heavily in them times. I used to read to Osian because a doctor said to me the most familiar thing he has at the moment is your voice, because he's had 23 weeks of him developing and listening to my voice. So I would read to him. So just trying to take a difficult situation and add in little pockets of joy, but also not going too far in the future. So if someone is watching this and they're going through a difficult time, how can I get through the next hour? How can I get through the next day? And just keep it small. I know that alcoholics and who'll sort of one day at a time, it's successful because it works. And to keep life small can really help you gain that control that you need. When we were in hospital, a hospital is not made for someone to have their first year in. Osian's we were in hospital for 435 days. A big chunk of his life was in hospital, and a hospital is for acute illnesses. So I tried to make that room as beautiful like a bedroom as possible, really. And one of the things that he used to have was a little device. It was called a cot soother, and it had white noise, and it had a little under the sea with music and lights. And he used to love it. He used to calm him down, and he'd look at it and then he'd fall asleep. So when he died, it was his birthday. He died in the March, and on his birthday in November, I wanted to celebrate his birthday. And I thought, what can I do to make that happen? I think I will buy some more fishes for other babies. So I thought to myself, I worked out all the wards that they had in Bristol Children's Hospital, and I spoke to Bristol Children's Hospital, and we agreed a figure of 50 units would be ample for the hospital. So I did a GoFundMe page, and I decided to give myself a target of £900, and in 2.5 hours I'd made that £900. So I then had a chat with my friend Emma, and she said, well, don't stop at there. And since then we have delivered hundreds of units to hospitals and hospices up and down the country, as far as Edinburgh to Carmarthen and in between. We have had beautiful letters from parents to say that the units have made a difference to the way that children go to sleep, to the way that they feel. We've had some sad letters as well, because some children don't get to go home. And a family that contacted me said that their child's life was made better by having that device, because that's all they knew. They didn't go outside, they didn't get to see the sea. So it's a very passionate, emotive, beautiful thing that I'm doing to make sure that Osian's legacy lives on by helping other children that are in hospital, by supplying the units. So my hope and my wish is that I fundraise to get more and more units and put them in every hospital in the UK and hospice, to just make children's lives better. My podcast is called Love Shortage, and it was born last year by a piece of advice that I was given by a good friend. And she said to me, when my son died, look for the love. She'd experienced significant loss herself, so it came from a really reliable source. And it was a challenge. It was a challenge to look for love every day when you are angry, when you're sad, when you're devastated. But I did, and it does work. Some days it's hard, some days it's nearly impossible. But the more you focus on love, the more it expands and the more it can make a difference in your life. And it has inspired me to talk about love more, to see where love fits in this world. And I was listening to a podcast myself, and Alan de Botton from the School of Life was talking about a love shortage epidemic in the world. And I thought, yeah, there is a love shortage epidemic. There is a lot of people that don't feel loved, or love is not featuring in their lives. And I would like to change that by creating a conversation, by also speaking to big-hearted people that I feel give love and create love within our world. And if we can all be focused on helping each other and being more loving to ourselves and more loving to other people, it can make a huge difference to our worlds. And if we're all individually doing that, ultimately on mass, it could make a difference. So I speak to lots of different people from lots of different walks of life, some in corporate environments, entrepreneurs, people that work for the public sector, charities, loads of different people. And I ask them 6 questions. And in them 6 questions, we talk about love, but not romantic love, about love that shows up in their lives, and how love ultimately is the glue that bonds us all together. And yeah, it's every conversation I learn something. There are similarities in all of the conversations, but they're never the same.